Alright guys, welcome back to Tecmo 101. Mark here, getting you ready for the Tecmo Players Championship in Chicago. This April, every April, I want to have this tournament in Chicago. Right now, I'm going over matchups to prepare you for the tournament as I've been for the last couple of weeks. Today, we're talking about the Minnesota Vikings. One of the best players on the Vikings is Joey Browner, the safety, and he has a lot of interceptions, and we are going to see if we can pick the ball off. And right there, we throw it into coverage. This time, we'll try to get ourselves into position for a JJ. If you've seen my earlier videos, especially the JJI and T drill, you should recognize this. I'm too far back. I haven't been doing that. Let's try it again. I don't usually do it against this route, so it's going to take me a minute. Alright, so this one goes to the bottom receiver. This might be... he didn't... Oh, that was close. That was close. Let's try one more time. Alright, this one to the top receiver. I think I just gotta run... No, I just picked the wrong play again. There it is, there it is. I can feel him locking on. The computer just kind of takes over. And remember I had that earlier video on JJI and T's? Or you can check out the upcoming video that's on the Retro Sports Gamer channel that will be about defending defending passes with a pass deflection like that and how to get in position. I've demonstrated this a couple times, but let's get into some Minnesota matchups. So first, let's talk about Minnesota versus Washington. What I love about this matchup is Mark Rippon has a 44 pass control, his backup 38. Minnesota's cornerback has a 44. The best defensive backs have 69 interceptions, and on Washington, of course, we have a cornerback with 69 interceptions. Both teams can JJINT the other quarterback. So that's a key thing to keep in mind in this matchup, is that these are two passing teams, but then there's also passing defense that's readily available, and you have to be careful of your throws. Now, Washington has a better running game with Ernest Biner. Remember, in most Tecmo Super Bowl tournaments that have the common rules, that Ricky Sanders is not allowed to play at running back, and other players, they're listed as a wide receiver, even though they're in the running back 2 position. It was how they represented the run and shoot and some of the 3 receiver sets. Art Monk is still good, and he actually makes a tight end in this game. I like to put him at tight end with that hitting power. Gary Clark's a good receiver. They got better overall talent on the offensive side of the board. No defaults in the offensive lines here. On defense, you've got on Washington, these guys are all okay. They're not really people you want to use. You want to rotate between Darrell Green for speed or Martin Mayhew for interceptions. The thing, though, is at the DV2 position, as we're going to go over with a couple teams, it's very weak to the running game. So at times you can't beat him because you'll get crushed in the running game, and Darrell Green's in a better position for that. Bowles isn't that great, but he can pick the ball off, and Alvin Watson's okay. Nice thing about this with Minnesota is that you have a decent running game. Not as good with Herschel Walker, so you will be able to find some running lanes. And then Anthony Carter, if we could find him deep, it might happen anyways on deep passes. But the nice thing is you have the defense. This is one of the best defenses in Tecmo. Chris Dolman has 31 interceptions. He can occasionally be used in pass coverage. Mark Merriweather, 44 interceptions. Second best INT rating for a linebacker. Great speed. Keith Millard, a surprise blitz guy. I'd love to pull off a surprise blitz every now and then with him. Studwell and Barry suck. Reggie Rutland isn't that great, but he's still 50 MS. And Carl, but watch out for Reggie Rutland's good. Carl Lee's great. 63 INT. On some teams, he would be a key player, but he's the second best player. Fullington is okay, but no interceptions, but still 50 MS. And then Joey Browner's just absolutely dominant, and that's what will make this an even matchup, is because both teams will find that their passing game shut down, and whoever can find something in the run game is going to win. Next matchup we have is versus Detroit, and what I love about this matchup here is that you can shut down Barry Sanders because of the Detroit bad offensive line that we went over earlier, and then on defense, you can start to take advantage of Leroy Irvin and not Billy Leroy Irvin and Biddy Blaze. You could take advantage of those two guys with put Anthony Carter at the top position, and he's going to probably burn these guys a few times throughout the game. So that's one of the things I love about this matchup. And then you can still run the ball on them pretty good with Minnesota. Minnesota has one of the best offensive lines in tecmo. Loudermilk, these guys can run block for you. Next up, finally, we have a little bit of a tougher matchup at times. It's Minnesota versus the Rams. The Rams secondary has a couple guys with 56 INT, but they're not great. That should open up some of the passing game because they're slow. And then they have Kevin Green at linebacker and nothing else. Just a putrid front seven besides Kevin Green. So that really opens up the running and passing games. But then this matchup, of course, is that you're hoping to be able to shut down Jim Everett with Joey Browner and Carl Lee, and you just have to watch out for Henry Elliott and Flipper Anderson. I do like about this matchup is that those games when the Rams don't get going and the Minnesota defense gets on them, the people have a really hard time using the Rams defense, and that can be exploited in various matchups in different ways. For every game that a team with a great offense is on, there's games when they're off. And then for the Rams, whenever a team's off on offense, you want to go back to the defense. And with the Rams, it's really hard to rely on their defense. Anyways, those are my matchups for Minnesota. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more of the matchup videos over the next couple weeks.